Mrs. Bertha Burch. Birthday January the 3rd, 1986, and 82 years.
I'm 84 years old. I was born in 1902.
Right. Yes, 84 years young.
Yeah.
How long have you been in Dixon County?
I've been here all my life.
Born and raised where?
Yeah, White Bluff.
Over at White Bluff. Mm-hmm. You were who prior to marriage?
I married, I was Mr. Lyons' daughter from White Bluff.
Lyons, right? Lyons' daughter from White Bluff, Tennessee.
Yeah, Dick is my nephew.
That's exactly right. Football player and coach and teacher and
everything.
So forth. Yes, very much so. You've been living in Dixon now. How long? When did you move to Dixon?
I moved to Dixon right after I married, and I guess it was about 1917 or something like that.
Somewhere along there.
Uh-huh.
You met Mr. Burch where?
Huh?
Where'd you meet Mr. Burch?
At White Bluff.
At White Bluff. He was a White Bluff native too.
Yeah.
Yes.
Had a T-model Ford.
Right. What year did you all meet?
Oh, I don't know. I can't remember.
Way back
we were just children together,
yes.
Grown up together.
You married what year? What year did you marry?
1918.
1918. Mm-hmm. Would have made you about...
I was young.
Way back there then. Way back there. You just...
I wanted to get an early start.
You were about young 16. You was about close to 16, around 16.
Yeah,
that's very right. You...
I slipped off.
Well,
I didn't know it.
those things happen. How long? Mr. Burch was with me on this very program one year. If you recall, he was with me.
I remember.
What year? How long has he been gone?
He's been gone 26 years.
Has it been that long?
I've been living by myself.
1960, isn't it?
Yeah.
What month was that?
It is in October.
October. I know I could look back on the records that we have here and find out what day he was with us, but we can look back. I think I was looking the other day and found his name.
Yeah.
You worked at one of the plants. Which one of the plants?
I worked at the shirt factory, we called it, for 40 long years.
Did you spend 40 years there?
I did.
40 long years. Did it seem like in a way that you spent that long?
No, I enjoyed every minute of it. Sometime when Mildred Hutchison bring me back some bad work, I didn't like that.
Were you kind of could you do several things?
I done 2 or 3 things. I could have done most all of them, but I never got the opportunity on with shoulder joint.
Yes, ma'am.
And then I bar tacked.
Right. Mm-hmm. Which one did you like to do the most?
I liked the bar tack because it wasn't too much trouble to it.
Right.
I made raw edges under the bottom.
I see. I guess during those years operating the machine, you could almost do some of that stuff with your eyes shut. You had become so accustomed to it.
Yes, I thought I could one time, but I made a mess, so I had to open them.
Well, that is quite interesting.
It was a good job, and had such good bosses.
You really did, and you all had, that was all those many years that I was kind of course, within our work connected with you, and that is one thing or another, see you off and on. But you seem to be one big kind of a family like.
We was just certainly one big family, and we had that picnic 2 or 3 weeks ago.
Is that right? On the Friday on Old Timers
yes,
Day
and it was just like your whole family
week.
Coming back home.
I'll bet it was. Yeah. You had a good time, didn't you?
Oh, yes, they come back.
Why don't you make, and I hope they'll all, of course, you had a real good group there, make that kind of an annual event so people can get together. During Old Timers Day.
Yeah, thinking about it.
There's many people or other organizations now are tying in just about everything with Old Timers Day. It's a good time to take a vacation. Yeah. People now quit going in the hot summer vacations. Yes. They're either going in May or October or other times.
Yeah, well, I don't blame them. It's just too hot.
It really is. What have you been doing now since you've officially retired? Now, you also worked at the high school here now for a number of years.
I got off at the shirt factory in July the 4th. We always took a vacation long about that time. And in August, I went over to senior high school. And
yes, ma'am.
And I worked 16 years.
Did you work over that long? 16 years?
I made the bread, and I enjoyed every bit of it, and I just loved every one of them young'uns.
That's right, I know you
they was so... You run into a bad one once in a while.
But basically, you enjoyed that.
The gentle run.
Now you've been officially retired from there. How long now? From the high school. How long you been retired from the high school?
I've been off 2 years.
2 years? Mm-hmm. 2 years. What are you doing now for just hobbies?
Oh, I get up every morning, take my bath, and get my pocketbook ready, and my car started. And
ready to go.
If anybody wants to go, we go.
We go. Mm-hmm. I think that's good.
And I go down to Senior Citizens. That's a nice place.
Yes, it is.
And I've been making a lot of ceramics. I haven't recently, but I did make a whole lot, and I enjoyed that. I enjoy every day.
Well, you do. Every day is a wonderful day, and if we're alive and up and walking and able to eat and breathe,
get breakfast, you're well off.
Isn't that the truth? Mm-hmm. It's been quite interesting to know of your occupation. 2 jobs. That's 40 and 10's 50, about 56 years of working in 2 places.
Well,
That's a good record.
I worked. You remember that canning factory they had over there?
Remember talking about that. Was before my time, but I remember it very well. You remember back in that.
I used to take my children over there and peel tomatoes. Peel one of them great big 10-quart buckets for a nickel. And they'd work just when they got a lot of tomatoes, and when they got a lot of tomatoes, they'd blow the whistle, and we all went.
Very interesting. Let me, you met Mr. Burch at White Bluff.
Yeah. And
you married at a young, how old was he? How much older was he than you?
He was 3 years older than
3 years older than you. About 19 years old when he got married.
Yeah. No, we was young.
Where'd you go get married?
White Bluff.
At White Bluff. Who married you?
Hardy Pack. What is some kind of a
magistrate? Magistrate in the county court back in those days, and the magistrate can marry. Yeah. You know, a lot of people can perform ceremonies. A pilot of an airplane can perform. A ship captain, and of course magistrates, and some kind of a judge, and
most of them.
That's
we couldn't get. We had to go to the first place we could because we was slipping off. We didn't have time to fool around.
What'd your mom and dad say at that time? What did they?
Well, Papa never did say anything. Mama, she
kind of got after you some, huh?
She got after us. My daddy worked on the railroad, and he has gone from home a lot, and Papa never did hit me a lick in his life. But Mama paid up for the rest of it.
She paid up for the rest of the time.
So Papa didn't say nothing, but Mama, she carried on pretty well. But she got over it.
Your dad's first name and he
was
Louis Lyons, Mr. Louis Lyons, and your mother was who before she married?
She was a Keith. They married in Indiana.
In Indiana. Mm-hmm. How many brothers and sisters did you have?
I didn't have any sisters. Yes, I had a little sister, but I had 8 brothers.
8 brothers?
There's 10 of us.
10 in your family. How many of your brothers are still living? Or
None of them. I'm the last one.
Are you the last one?
I don't know why I'm left, but I'm here.
Well, and that happens in families at times. That happens.
You remember Eddie Lyons?
Very much so.
He is my brother.
Yes, very much so. Remember him?
3 years.
Remember real well.
He's the last brother I had, and I'm the last one in the family.
Very good. Are you acquainted with? I know you are. Are you acquainted with Poochie and Tommy Hodges? You're very well acquainted.
Yeah.
They had some kind of grand opening back the first week in June, didn't they?
Yes, they did.
Very much so.
Very much so.
There's a lovely place up there. I knew you've known them for years and years.
Yes, they're nice. They've been there a long time.
Long time in the place. Let me ask you, you've always been a good cook. What do you like to cook most of all? You've been a good cook.
Well, I haven't got no certain thing. I made the bread old school, and I don't care about making any more bread, but I have to.
You made that. Made plenty of bread over there.
Yes, I did. And but I just like, in general, I like to cook the vegetables, and I make a lot of prune cakes. I have 2 or 3 of the men over at school like the prune cakes, Mr. Noah Daniel especially.
Yes.
And I like to make them for him, and I like to, just the general run of cooking I like.
You really enjoy that? What's it take to make good, what kind of bread do you like type that you like to do most? I know you've made rolls and you made cornbread and all this kind of thing. Which bread do you like to
Well, I think I enjoy making Mexican cornbread the best.
Mexican cornbread?
Yes, sir. I like that, and I like to make it, and most all of my family likes it.
Yes.
But I like to make biscuit.
Right.
I don't mind making any of it as far as that goes, but I just...
Speaking of the biscuit, can you still make the old-fashioned biscuit with where you stir this and you hand the milk and the flour and all this? Do you have one of those? You, of course, I know you've made the biscuit the old-fashioned way.
Oh, yeah.
Do you still like to do that?
Yes, that's the only way I know to do it.
Hey, that's great.
That's the only way I'd make a biscuit.
I tell you, nothing like a big hot biscuit that you make and put some preserves on that and jelly or something in the morning and a
But I don't like too much inside of a biscuit.
Right.
I like them kind of,
crusty and where they
both sides.
Right, on both sides.
Yeah, and open them up, and you've got some middle in there, but I just don't care for that whole wad.
That whole wad of stuff in there.
Too big.
I see. I
don't care for that.
Yes. How long have you lived on West Walnut Street?
Well, I've been in the same little house 50-some years.
You got to be kidding.
No, I am. One of my children were born there, Billy.
Billy?
Billy Burch.
Yes.
And I've been there ever since, and I'm still a-setting.
Your lovely little home there.
Well, it's a little, and it's getting, like me, it's getting old, but it's still my home, and I just love it, and I wouldn't swap it for a brick building nowhere.
Right. You've kept it up in good shape. It's a lovely home. You're a good housekeeper. What's the old song or the old cliche? Be it ever so humble, there's no place like home. That's about it, isn't there?
I get there every night. I'm like a chicken. I get there. When it gets dark, I get in my house.
All right. We're going to take it right now coming up 7. It'll be in 35 seconds. 7:15. We're going to pause for this message from...
I took it after
you. And our guest here today is, of course, Mrs. Bertha Burch, who is our guest, our special guest this morning. And always all of our guests each Saturday morning are special to us. And she's right here with us, 84 years young, hitting towards that 85 mark, and all of us are just spinning towards that mark. She's been around a long time. She's seen a lot of changes made here in Dixon and Dixon County and surrounding area. You like to travel? Do you like to travel?
Not too much. I like to go, but I like to get back by dark.
But you like to get back by dark and back by home. Is that back? Kind of like you said, a chicken. But they always want to roost in their regular place.
I'm ready to go early every morning, but I'm ready to come back
in the afternoon. That's good. Where's the longest trip in your 84 years plus? What's the longest trip you've ever made?
Well, I went out west with my daughter and her husband, and we was gone about 10 days, and we went all out there in west, Oklahoma, and all around out there. And I enjoyed that.
Yes, ma'am.
We had a camper, and we camped out. And so I enjoyed that, and I've been in lots of places. I went to Oklahoma last year to see my grandson. I have a grandson that lives in Oklahoma, and I have a grandson that lives in Houston. I went to Houston. But my trips is very short, but I'm always glad to get back home.
Well, I know that. What are some of your hobbies now, since you
I'll tell you, like I told Henry Reagan at the Old Timers, my hobbies is all got up and gone.
Oh, yes. Somebody's asked now, where is your daughter, Laverne? Is it Laverne?
She lives in Newbern, Tennessee, down in West Tennessee.
And Agnes Sanker,
Agnes Burch is my daughter.
Yeah, and Agnes Sanders Collier called and said you know her, Agnes Sanders Collier. Miss Collier called, and she's enjoying the program.
Well, good for her.
And where'd you say your daughter was, Laverne? Where'd you say?
Laverne, she lives in Newbern, Tennessee, down close to Jackson.
It's in West Tennessee.
Yeah.
Down in Newbern, Tennessee. Very good.
She's been down there. She married a boy from down there, and he died when he's 42 years old with a heart attack, but she stayed on.
Let's name the children. Of course, you married Mr. Burch. Tell us his first name for those who may not remember. He's been gone 26 years, and a lot of people listening in that wasn't around at that time.
Well, my husband's named Jack Burch.
Yes, ma'am.
And then I had a son that was, Laverne was the oldest, and then I had Mary Lou, and then I had Jackie Boy. You know, he died 7 years ago. And then I had Billy. Them's my children.
That's your children. 2 girls and
2 boys.
And 2 girls and 2 boys.
Yeah.
The girls are the oldest, is that right?
Yeah, the girls is the oldest. Laverne's the oldest, and then Mary Lou.
Now, how many grandchildren, rather? The 4 children, how many grandchildren do you have?
I got 9 grandchildren.
9 grandchildren. And they're living different places?
Yes, I have Judy Schode and Mickey Burch and Eddie Ray Burch that lives here in Dixon.
Yes, ma'am.
They're my grandchildren.
Yes.
My grandchildren.
Grandchildren. And you have some, how many great-grandchildren do you have?
Well, they come so fast I can't keep up with them.
You can't keep up with them. That's hard to keep.
I get behind, but I've got 13, I know.
Oh, that's good. That's good. All doing all right?
Yeah, doing fine.
That is great. Well, it's
doing
just
fine.
Great. You know, it's good to have you here. Who was some of your supervisors at the what we call the old shirt factory? Of course, that's Dixon Manufacturing Company. We called it many years ago. Down here, right across the post office.
They're going to tear the old place down.
Yeah, but that's... do you walk by there? Do you think about the many hours that you spend in there sometime? 40 years?
Alive. Yes, we'd like to burn up sometime down there.
Did?
We didn't have no air conditioning.
Right.
I was working 31.
That's right.
For a dime an hour.
That's right. And those memories come back to you.
Yeah, I think about it. And I think I sat in that far corner back there between 2 windows and know the sun every morning got in my face and the sun every evening like to burn me up. But I think about that. Them windows just are falling out.
It's sometime I wish something could be. I wish something could go in that building. I really do. I wish.
But it looks terrible on the back side. On that side.
Yes, it does.
Yes,
it does.
I think it'd take a lot to fix it.
I'm sure it would. No question about it.
No.
Maybe whatever can be done will be utilized, and it'll be. But there's been many a garment made in that place.
Oh yes, and made good.
And made good.
I look at the garments now that you buy, shirts that you buy, are just fixed with a serging machine or something. But we had 3 needles that went across there.
Yes. You had 3 of them that went across there.
3 stitches.
Stitches, and that was the strength of them.
Yeah, that was the strength of them old blue shirts.
Yes.
They had to be made. If Mildred Hutchinson found a raw edge, she brought it back, and you had to fix it over.
She had an eagle eye. She knew what.
But I love her today.
That's right.
I never did get mad at her, but
that's great. But she was a good, I guess. In other words, for the years, she was a real good supervisor.
Yes, she was.
She was really experienced and good at it.
She was.
Well, it's good that you have. You're getting calls going and coming. Miss Pauline Sessler.
Yes, I know.
Joined the program. Mrs. Agnes Burch Beasley.
Yeah, that's my daughter-in-law. That was Jackie Boy's wife.
That's Jackie Boy's wife. Yes, known her for years and years, enjoying the program so much.
She's still my daughter-in-law.
Well, she still is. You don't lose them. You just keep
added one more to us.
That's exactly right. Exactly right.
Jackie Boy left, and we couldn't
help
him.
And Jack and I were real close, as you well know. A lot of Little League, and he let Warren Everett to catch. In fact, Jack had the Little League. They may have been a little higher than that, the Little Leaguers, but at least along about that time. Warren caught a game for him over at Cumberland Furnace one time.
Yeah.
Never caught a game in his life. Always played second base.
Yeah.
But he caught Jack, and Jackie said he did a real good job. Warren always remembers that. He said Mr. Burch had me catching that day. Of course, the regular catcher was hurt or out something. I don't know what happened, and Warren caught for him that day.
Yeah.
Yeah, we had many good times back in over there with Little League.
I sat on that hillside over at elementary school.
Old elementary school.
Then went to Button's Park. We had a little bit of place, but I roamed all over the country.
A group of us went together, and we put in $50 or $75 apiece and fixed those 2 fields up out there. Got the late Mr. V.L. Harden had some equipment, and he put in there and donated stuff. And, we got those 2 fields fixed, That's the way we had to do back in those days.
Oh, I know
Go to the
it.
fairground and do so many things.
I used to go with my children and grandchildren, and then I went with the Cardio boys. I'd go with Mr. and Ms. Cardio,
You know Miss Mabel Gillum?
Yeah.
She's calling down about Yellow Creek, down in the Yellow Creek area.
Yeah.
She's enjoying the program so much.
Well, it's a heart.
Now, you started a song service. There's a homecoming over at Walnut Street. Started last night, and the whole flock of churches all around seemed like to me the 4th of July, and this is 86 homecoming, and we announced all of them this morning. A whole flock of them are going. I started the song service over there last night, and Ray Walker's. How'd you come out last night?
Wonderful.
I really meant to have gotten there. I couldn't get there last night, but we'll try to get there tonight. But
please do.
I really meant to have gotten there. How's your tent? How's it working?
It's working fine. It's beautiful. They just had it fixed up so nice, and everything went off just lovely. And Ray Walker's a wonderful song.
Yeah, Ray was Jordanaires, still with the Jordanaires. He sings with Jordanaires. Boyce Hawkins used to play for them, and so on. He spoke. Now, Brother Walker spoke at 7.
Yeah.
Did he speak a long time or a short time?
He spoke 45 minutes.
About 45 minutes. Then he
we had another preacher.
Yeah, then Brother Colley followed him.
Yeah.
Now there's only... are these the only ministers that are living? After years and long, there's not many ministers that pastored or preached or ministered churches that are still living. Now, you've got those 2 former ministers. Now tonight you'll have Brother Burton, Brother E. Weston Burton will come back, and I believe when he was here, Brother Doug Lawrence was associate minister, and he'd be speaking. But now you've got Brother Thomas coming tomorrow, and he's coming from Chattanooga this afternoon, maybe. He's about going on 92 years of age.
I think so.
You remember him?
Yes, sir.
All right. He's going to be speaking in the morning at 9 o'clock.
Yeah.
And then you remember Brother Marlin.
Oh, yes, he was there last night.
Was he there last night?
He led our prayer last night.
Yes, he got in early. And, of course, he was here about 1947, 48, along in there, 40. I remember him.
Yeah.
And then, of course, the Sunday evening service, of course, will be led by Chip Haslam, all these other 3 services. Ray won't be back with you. Then you've got tomorrow evening at 7 p.m., Brother Gwyneth Ford, and then Brother Bob Turrell, your present minister. How many ministers have you served? Now, you've been over there during the minister of these 1, 2, 3, well, really 3. Doug was associate. 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. Have you've been there during all of their?
All that time.
Who else do you know has been over there that can't get back?
Well, just offhand, I don't remember now. We had Brother Stocks. He's died.
Yeah, Brother Bond Stocks.
Yes, and he died.
He's dead, you see. So I imagine you try to get every one of them, and I imagine all of them are here that,
But, all of them
are getting up in years. Many are getting up, like Brother Thomas. They'd be getting up in years,
yes,
you see. And several passed away during that time. You're going to have all the services now. You're going to have you're going to be under the tent. The services be under the tent.
Unless somebody gets too hot or something and
Right.
wants to go in the auditorium, it's got fixed so you can sit in the auditorium in the church
Too.
and hear
listen, hear you got speakers and
hear
so
the
forth.
speaker just
Well,
say,
that's all right. That's good.
But I thought it was kind of cute to sit out under the tent.
I think so.
Everybody had those fans fanning like
That's
we used to.
old timey. That's old used to do it. You see, I'm like you. Well, that's real good, and we hope for all concerned will be wonderful services. Now tomorrow. There'll be a fellowship meal, what we used to call maybe dinner on the ground, old-timey thing. Going to have a meal, right?
Yeah.
Everybody, what are you doing, bringing added dishes and whatnot?
No, the tea.
Going to have that catered? The tea room is catering that.
Yes.
The tea room is right there close, so it's cater that.
Uh-huh.
Well, that's nice.
Yes, I think it'd be nice.
That'll be at the following the a.m. worship service, which would, of course, conclude at about 11 or somewhere along in there.
11,
Brother Marlon starts at 10, and then he should wind up about 11. What else do you have going on there last night?
Well, we had that good preaching. We had 500, about 500.
That's very good.
Considering
a holiday and
holiday, and so many people are gone this time of the year on a vacation.
Right, on vacations they are gone, and they're around, and it's hard to get everybody. It's just hard to set a time to know.
Yeah.
You just do the best you can with what you got, and glad to be.
Well,
I'm so glad you got things started real good.
Well, it started off awful good.
That's very good.
Awful nice and fine.
How long since you've seen Brother Thomas? How many years?
Oh, it's been a long time.
He's been gone a long time.
Yes. Mm-hmm.
Now he's having somebody to drive him over, I believe. Brother
I imagine so.
Yeah, sure.
Now, they had his picture recently, a picture of him up in the church hall, and he looks real feeble and old in that picture. I haven't seen him personally.
Yes. Well, that's quite something to have somebody that age coming that far and preach. I think it's very commendable, and we wish for all concerned the very, very best. It is a delight to have you here and honor you here on our program this morning.
Well, I just like a child getting ready to go to the county fair this morning.
That's great. We have a good time on these programs.
Oh, I know it.
We make everybody welcome and make everybody feel good, or at least we try. Sometimes I'm sure we miss the mark, but we want to always make people feel welcome and honor you for the contribution. You'll say, well, she said, oh, I don't know much, and I don't, I said, well, that's the kind of people we like, don't know much. In other words, because it's work that you've done. You spent at least in 2 jobs, 40 years in one place and 16 in another. That speaks very well of yourself. I mean, that speaks very, very highly of you
well,
and others, too.
Back when I was doing that work like that, we didn't have nothing. I have gone home from the church factory and canned potatoes or beans or cook supper and do all that.
After you worked?
After you worked. You had to do that.
That's exactly.
You didn't have somebody like Dale Reagan around.
Well, Dale he's doing our he's taking our phone calls this morning, and Miss Ethel Scott Booker. You remember her?
Yeah.
She's enjoying you very much.
Well,
You've had a lot of calls this morning now.
I've known Ethel a long time. But I'm bound to say something about those girls across the street.
Say something. Do you say something? Bring that microphone right there. About Jean. Do you know Jean?
Oh, Jean and Catherine.
Jean Lee
makes me pretty every weekend.
All right. What's her associate there? What's the other girl you mentioned? What's the other girls?
Catherine McFarland from White
Bluff. They both real good.
And they make me pretty every weekend.
Did you know that Jean? Did you know that she's been over there around close to 35? She's getting to be one of the older employers, too.
She wouldn't say that, but I know she's getting an old-timer.
She's getting close to an old-timer. She's been right there in that location nearly 35 years.
She lived behind me when she was, I guess she's 9 or 10 years old. Her family lived down behind me. I've known her all of her life. But she's a good one. Yes. Jean's a good one. She's a knockout. And a worker. She's a worker. Yeah, I know it.
She's a good worker. She's a good worker at whatever you can't, as the old saying is, my dad used to say, you can't hook her up wrong. Listen, that clock up there, let me say congratulations and thanks a lot for coming.
Thanks for having me. I felt honored to get to talk.
It really is. Until we greet you next week with another special guest, we'll have this closing word, then stay tuned for Henry. He'll be right along with old-time goodies.